Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Gray. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning. There's no one to mingle with. Nobody's around. Nobody's here. It's so sad, but so true. This puts a smile on my face. The theater where my first Broadway show opened, Cabaret. And I've always loved this theater. I actually love them all. I think I've played about 8. Anyway, all of us want to give their regards. Everybody wants to be singing and dancing for the great Broadway audiences, and we can't do it. There's no gang. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street. There's no gang. What are we going to do? How are we going to change all this?
Good evening and welcome. We are live, which means anything can happen. So holy crap, keep those fingers crossed. I am Eric Ulloa and I am your proud host tonight. I am also the host and the creator of the podcast, Do You Hear the People Sing? A Theater Person's Guide to Saving Democracy. And what we do there is we create action plans for people in the theater community and theater lovers alike to help with action steps that can make meaningful change in the upcoming election. And we also give you an artist/activist every other week to inspire you to get out the door and realize that your artist voice is also your activist voice. We are thrilled tonight to be pairing up with Broadway for Biden and the Broadway Podcast Network to create this incredible, there we go, Pep Rally. We got the proscenium. All right, so we started off with the Broadway legend himself, Joel Gray, the only way one should start things out. And he asked us a question. What are we going to do? What can we do? Well, tonight, we are going to fight back. Tonight, our community is getting together. The Broadway stars are getting together to let you know how they feel about things and why they are so excited about a Biden-Harris ticket. You know, this is the most important election of your lifetime. I'm sure you've heard it before.
Eric, the first guest is here.
Wait, already?
Yeah, they're here. They're ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt DiCarlo, Broadway stage manager extraordinaire. Let's give it up. There you are. All right, folks. So our first guest not only has the most gorgeous voice, but is one of the most gorgeous humans with the most gorgeous hearts I know. I have the pleasure of calling him friend. Please welcome my friend, Telly Leung.
Hi, this is Telly Leung. And I have some good news and I have some bad news. Let me start with the bad news. The bad news is in 2016, only 49% of all eligible AAPI, Asian American and Pacific Islander voters went out and participated in the election in 2016. Only 49%. And we know what happened there. But there is good news. And the good news is we are the fastest growing electorate in America right now. Not only are we the fastest growing electorate, but we are growing in places like Nevada and Texas where it really, really counts. So I am urging everybody out there, but especially my AAPI family, please go out and vote yourself, but also call your family, call your friends, get them out to vote no matter where they are living in America, not only because it is so important that we do that this year with all of the uprise in hate crimes towards Asian Americans due to the coronavirus and due to the leadership in our country right now, calling it names and using racist terms in order to scapegoat their own inadequacies as leaders. It's not just for that. It's also because we need a change in leadership. We need somebody like Joe Biden, an empathetic, caring, proven leader, and he has chosen an amazing running mate in Kamala Harris, somebody who represents the Asian community and will do a phenomenal job in that office as his second in charge. So I'm urging everybody out there to get out there and vote, but it's a special, special plea to all of my AAPI family out there. Get out and vote, November 3rd. Do it.
Thank you, Telly. Now, earlier this week, I had the distinct pleasure and honor of speaking to someone who is not only on the brink of history with a historic candidacy, but they are on the front line for meaningful and progressive change. So here now, please enjoy the interview I had with Democratic nominee for U.S. Congress from New York's 15th District, an incredibly intelligent man, Councilman Richie Torres. All right, here we have Councilmember Richie Torres. We are so excited to have you on here. I want to call you Congressman Torres so badly, but I'm a Latino and we were raised to never jinx things. So I'm so excited to have you here. Your victory in the primaries was so exciting for all of us. So thank you for coming on.
It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. I know we all, I'm not in your district, council member, and it was so hard to not to be, but I did a lot of Instagram posting that day, telling people in that district to get to the polls. And I know a lot of my friends did too, just to make sure. And it was just like, that night was just so exciting watching that happen. It's always a reminder that democracy works when we see those moments happen. It's really exciting. So with that, now your election will come with the arrival of history being made. With that, the responsibility it brings. You will be the first gay, Black, Latino congressman in our history. What with that responsibility and that sharp focus excites you? What will you do with that? With that responsibility that comes with it?
Look, it's an exciting moment to be in national politics. I represent a new generation of leadership that is every bit as diverse as America itself, right? America is a multiracial, multi-ethnic democracy. And we should have a Congress that genuinely represents America, the full diversity of America. And for me, it's a historic opportunity to address some of the greatest challenges affecting our country: the crushing cost of healthcare, the cost of housing, the cost of higher education. I see COVID-19 not only as a historic challenge, but also as a historic opportunity to redo America.
Very much so, absolutely. To look back at the structure of how we look at things, actually.
Yeah. But we're going to have a Congress that increasingly represents the future rather than the past.
Yes. So now, council member, we know that with elections and if everything goes the way we are planning, we take back the White House and Congress and we are in charge again. We know that the country swings on a heavy pendulum. Sometimes great progressive legislation, great progressive moments like the election of Barack Obama come with the heavy swing of the pendulum, and we somehow creep back to something that makes everything stop, and Republicans seize control of a House or the Senate or something. So let's say everything goes great, and we have 2 precious years till 2022 midterms, and maybe then we don't have full control. What do we do in those precious 2 years? What progressive legislation do we put forward that you think is the most important piece?
Expanding the Supreme Court should be the supreme priority of the Democratic Party and the progressive movement. Back in 2016, following the death of Antonin Scalia, then President Obama nominated Merrick Garland, and Mitch McConnell said then that the Senate should never confirm a Supreme Court nominee in a presidential election year. Flash forward 4 years, and a mere 3 hours after the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Mitch McConnell announced that he's going to violate his own rule and fill the Ginsburg seat with a right-wing replacement. So as far as I'm concerned, the Machiavellianism of Mitch McConnell demonstrates what we've all known all along, that Republicans care more about the pursuit of power than about principle. And instead of playing by the rules of Mitch McConnell, we as Democrats have to be every bit as ruthless and relentless in building Democratic power as the Republicans have been in building Republican power. Unilateral disarmament is a loser's game. And so building Democratic power means expanding the Supreme Court for the sake of protecting democracy. It means legislating statehood for Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C., so that we have 4 new Democratic senators. It means ending partisan gerrymandering. Progressive power is the foundation for progressive policymaking. Because even if we win every election, even if we have Joe Biden in the presidency and Chuck Schumer as the majority leader of the U.S. Senate and Nancy Pelosi as the Speaker of the U.S. House, what is to stop a right-wing Supreme Court from striking down the progressive priorities of a democratically elected president and a democratically elected Congress. Right? We cannot afford to be governed by minority rule. We're governed by a president who lost the popular vote. We're governed by a Republican Senate majority that represents 15 million fewer people than the Democratic Senate minority. And now we're in danger of being governed by a conservative supermajority on the Supreme Court. We have to fight back. We have to expand the Supreme Court for the sake of protecting not only our progressive priorities, but American democracy at large.
Yeah. People forget that even if we're in charge again and we can have super majorities in the House and the Senate, and they can strike down every legislation we pass, from the Clean Air to the Clean Water Act. Everything could be gone.
The Supreme Court interprets the Constitution, which is the highest law of the land. It affects everything.
Correct. And
so for me, it should be the supreme priority of the progressive movement. And it has particular implications for the LGBTQ community. You know, one of our highest legislative priorities is the Equality Act, which would amend the Civil Rights Act to protect LGBTQ people from discrimination in matters of employment, housing, public accommodation, and all the rest. But there's been an attempt by the conservative movement to reinterpret religious liberty as a license to discriminate against LGBTQ people. And so if a right-wing Supreme Court were to reinterpret the First Amendment against the interest of the LGBTQ community, it could have the effect of eviscerating not only the Equality Act, but every human rights protection at every level of government. The stakes are existential for the civil rights of the LGBTQ community.
100%. And you know, as a gay man, it's very hard for me to celebrate these moments where the Supreme Court, where we won that case, because I go, in 2020, why am I celebrating the fact that I won't get fired from my job for being gay? Well, you know, it's so offensive that they've turned it around so that we have to celebrate these victories that are not victories. They're just, they are principles of who we are as people. You know?
We have to be careful not to declare mission accomplished.
Oh, of course.
Not to lull ourselves into a false sense of security. Right? Progress is always fragile. It's always reversible. And we have to keep fighting for our future.
You're 100% correct. Now this takes me to our final question with you. Now pretend with me, you know, I'm an 18-year-old first-time voter, and I was really excited about a different candidate, and Joe Biden became our nominee. And Joe Biden doesn't excite me the way my candidate excited me and got me going. What do you say to me to get me to the polls, to tell me why a Biden-Harris administration really is something to be really excited about, and show up at those polls and take 5 friends with me?
Look, a Biden-Harris presidency is not simply a rejection of Donald Trump. It is a bridge to the future. If Joe Biden wins the presidency, and if the Democrats control both houses of Congress, then we will have the makings of an FDR moment. We will have a once-in-a-century opportunity to govern as boldly in the 21st century as FDR did in the 20th century. Right? We will have an opportunity to fight catastrophic climate change, to create a social safety net that establishes health and housing as human rights, to create the next generation of jobs, to enable our society to recover from COVID-19, and to begin to address the root causes of systemic racism, which has been 400 years in the making. So we're going to have the opportunity to do so much. Not every generation has an FDR moment. We will. And the burden falls on us to make the most of it.
And Councilmember Torres, I cannot wait to call you Congressman Torres. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for exciting us. I can't wait to see what brings us on Election Day.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Take care.
Hi, my name is Casey Levy, and I'm a Broadway actress. And I cannot vote for Joe Biden. Not because I don't want to, but because I'm not an American citizen. I am a proud Canadian and an equally proud permanent resident of the United States. I moved to America at 19 years old, and for the last 20 years, I've made my life here. I've had a career beyond my wildest dreams. I've made friends for life, and I've started a family My husband is American. My child is American. I am incredibly invested in the future of this country that I call home. In 2019, after years of being a green card holder, I finally applied to become a naturalized citizen of the United States, hopefully in time to vote in this momentous election. But when COVID struck, all of those applications, of course, became delayed. And so here I am, advocating for a candidate in an election I have no voice in. As a green card holder, I have nearly all of the privileges of a citizen, all but one. I can't vote. And so I'm asking you to use your voice, not just for yourselves, but for all the people like me who love this country and who feel helpless at the moment in trying to move it forward. If you, like me, believe that Black Lives Matter, that white supremacy and anti-Semitism have no place in America, if you believe in equality for our LGBTQ brothers and sisters, if you believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, if you believe that women's rights are human rights, if you believe that immigrants' rights are human rights, if you believe that all Americans deserve access to affordable health care, then like me, you can only vote for one candidate, and that's Joe Biden. Please use your incredible power and your heart to vote for the right person this election, the person that stands for what we believe in. Do it for you, do it for your loved ones, and do it for those of us who love America so much and count ourselves so lucky to live here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Torres, and thank you, Casey Levy. That was just gorgeously heartfelt. And like she said, you know, do it for yourself, do it for your country, but do it for those who are in this country that love this country and need you to lend your voice. So our chat window, I have been on. I've been chatting with some of you and welcoming you in. And the debate you're having is so fascinating. And you are correct, those of you chatting on the window. You're right, you can use your voice. Please, if you're on here tonight to see your favorite Broadway stars, and I'll mention it again, look, Broadway is shut down and is shut down for a very long time because of what's happening with this pandemic. So if you love Broadway and you love your Broadway stars and you love tweeting at them and talking to them and being on moments and events like this, then you have to use your voice to write to your representative and to tell them that we are in desperate need of help, that we need funding, we need help, we need a bailout like everybody else, because if not, Broadway does not come back. It's all dependent on them and how we curb this pandemic and help those stars who are in need. So please use your voice for this election in every respect. Now, speaking of that, ways to do that, I have a list of some things throughout tonight that you can do right now at home if you haven't already taken charge, because we are at, I think, 20 days now till the election. So the first thing I want to talk about is postcard writing. And Alan, you could throw it up there. If you want to go to www.thelastweekends.org, www.thelastweekends.org. There we go. All right, so on that site, you're going to find a plethora of stuff that you can be doing right now for the upcoming election. The one you want to be doing first, postcards. What you're doing is you're getting postcards and you are sending them to swing states, and you are writing voters, and you are merely telling them, hey, I see that you are a previous voter, and they give you a list, or I see you are a first-time voter. Exciting, welcome. We're so happy you're registered to vote, and we are reminding you to vote in the upcoming election. These come in their mailboxes. It just serves as a reminder the day of. So if they were maybe unsure, or, you know, many Americans, sadly, way too many, hundreds of millions do not vote. So these tools help us in getting the vote out. So look, get together with your friends. We've been doing it once a week, me and my friends. We get together, we have some drinks, we put on a film or something in the background, and we sit and we work for a couple of hours just writing postcards out. And it's a great way to safely get together and do some action to change the outcome of what is happening in this country. Look, your fingers will be cramped up. You will be in pain, but it'll all be worth it.
Eric, the next guest is here.
Great. All right, now, Our next guest is someone I know from when I played his boyfriend in a musical reading, and now with his actual boyfriend. Not only are they both so talented, but they both know how to raise their voice and always speak up for what's right. Here are Zachary Prince and Brandy Uranowitz.
Hey folks, it's your friend, 3-time Tony Award loser, Brandon Uranowitz.
And your mother's worst social media nightmare, Zachary Prince. We're Broadway actors.
And, we're gay. The viewers are shocked.
Hey, it's been a wild couple of years, huh?
Yeah.
Are you tired? Because we're like
so tired.
Was it the transgender military band that did it? Or
Yeah, or like, maybe watching the current administration fight tirelessly in court to make it legal to fire us based on our sexual orientation or like gender identity.
Oh, or trying to make it legal to deny us medical treatment based on religious liberty.
Yeah. Or maybe it was the massive uptick in hate crimes and murders of LGBTQ folks.
Or was it the rabid packing of the courts with unqualified zealot judges whose sole purpose is to knock modern secular society back to the Puritan times?
Yeah, I think maybe all of that.
Culty.
Look, so here's the deal. We're not here to depress you, but we also realize that a lot of our younger fans and followers might think that the LGBTQ community being under attack isn't really anything new, and that we'll just sort of like half commit to the moment and carry on as usual and everything will be fine.
You mean like in 2016 when only 48.2% of the LGBTQ American community even voted?
Yeah.
But Brandon and I are just old enough to remember a different time, not too long ago, when our community was under assault just like now, and things weren't fine. In fact, things got pretty bad.
Like really bad. But like, let's go back even further. Stonewall.
Oh, you mean Pride?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that started as a riot against the NYPD led by our trans BIPOC sisters. The police were raiding bars, beating, raping, blackmailing, and arresting folks just like us.
When some brave transgender women decided that they'd had enough.
They threw bricks, they burned stuff.
A galvanized minority community in the streets fighting for their lives, their dignity, their freedom.
Sound familiar? And then came the AIDS crisis, and there was no massive government mobilization to stop it, not even a half-baked attempt like our current public health disaster.
Wait, what did they call AIDS in the 80s?
Gay plague.
Oh, so specific. You know, Reagan's press secretary laughed about the disease when he was asked if the administration was even tracking it.
He literally laughed about the notion of tracking a deadly pandemic that was disproportionately killing minority populations. Hundreds of thousands died.
Sound familiar?
Now, we only have a few minutes for this diatribe, so let's fast forward to 2015.
Marriage equality becomes the law of the land.
Obama and Biden call for an end to abusive and inhumane conversion therapy for LGBTQ youth.
2016.
Obama and Biden issue guidance to public schools across the nation declaring that Title IX, a federal law banning sex discrimination in education programs and activities, protects transgender students.
Eric Fanning becomes the first LGBTQ Secretary of the Army.
The Obama-Biden administration declares Stonewall a national monument.
The Trump-Pence ticket wins the election. You see, before the 2016 election, LGBTQ folks were finally becoming true equal citizens under the law. You know, like the Constitution promised.
Yeah, and then that stopped.
And reversed.
You see, friends, voting is important.
It's literally our most powerful tool for change in a democracy.
Change doesn't happen overnight, but it happens
when you vote. Joe Biden pledges to reverse the trans military ban.
The Biden-Harris administration will restore transgender students access to sports, bathrooms, and locker rooms in accordance with their gender identity.
They will reaffirm that the Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity.
Ensure blood donation procedures are based on science, because wait for it, I still can't donate blood because I'm gay.
In 2020.
They have pledged to make prosecuting violence against transgender women of color a priority.
They will expand the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act.
And most importantly, Biden will listen to science.
Science?
I think it has to do with like facts and, not letting hundreds of thousands of primarily minority Americans die for no reason.
Oh, and like letting actual experts in their fields recommend measures that will save our industries and economy from catastrophic collapse without playing politics?
Yeah, like that.
Oh, cool. Because I'd like really love to get back to work and, go for that 4th Tony loss.
Me too.
Yeah.
Remember jobs
And decency.
and honesty?
And presidents with empathy.
Barely. But guess what? There's one waiting in the wings right now. His name is Joe Biden.
And literally all you have to do is vote. Simple as that.
Babe, who are you voting for?
Patti Murin.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
We're
We are voting for Joe Biden.
Hey.
We now are at a point where we're going to do a live Q&A. So everyone in the comment feed, start getting some questions ready about the upcoming election. There's a lot of questions I'm sure will come about shows and stuff. We are gearing tonight to the upcoming election, all the ballot races going down. And when thinking about a live show and all the things that could go wrong, I thought, who would I love at my side should everything go to hell? And there's only one person I know of, and her name is Leslie Margarita. Welcome, Leslie.
First of all, I'm crying because of what we just saw. And it's just unbelievable, and good luck to us.
Yeah.
Here, live, really. No, I'm so happy to be here.
So yeah, we are live now, and I'm looking over at. I'm literally learning this platform as we go along. So let's see what happens.
Oh.
So they, while the questions are coming in, Leslie, talk to me about, you are an actress in the world of this insane pandemic where theater it's gone. It's quite literally gone. And I think there was this great quote going around. And of course, right now that we're live, I can't think of who said it, but that was saying, we are being forced to not do our careers. It's not like we're sitting back and not shoot. We are being forced to not do what we paid tremendous money to learn, what we put our lives into, what we do. Imagine being forced. Yeah, what we love. And but being forced to not do what we actually do, our careers. It's a career. It's now tell me about your personal story with all this. How have you been getting by? What's up with you?
Thanks for asking. It's been crazy like everybody. When this all went down, I was doing an off-Broadway show, and like everybody thought it was just going to be a couple weeks, because the information that was given to us, the severity of it was not correct. We were not given the actual information and how dangerous this was. I mean, you could see the news, but most people will look to our leaders and want that kind of comfort in knowing what is coming, and what was told to us was not true. So this became a huge deal. It's now been 6 months that theaters have been closed. I was in the theater district, the Broadway theater district, a couple of weeks ago, and it is so heartbreaking because you see things boarded up and signage has been taken down, and what was once this beautiful, glorious place where you could look around and see show people of every walk of life is now empty. The streets are empty, and it's really sad. So I mean, as far as like how we're all coping, I think I'm coping as well as any other actor is. You're trying to work how you can online, but it's not the same. Especially we theater actors thrive on having that human connection, and we can't be with other humans to have that, whether that's on stage or in the audience.
You're right. There is a definite. I mean, it It is very depressing to walk the theater district right now. It is to walk from 8th Avenue down all along those cherished avenues and streets. It is like some weird zombie movie. There is literally nobody anywhere. And it breaks my heart every time. I actually have made a path now around it, so I don't have to walk through it. It's too hard to look at. It's too hard to see.
It's really hard to look at. I mean, in a weird way, it was good to see in person, just to remind myself how important this election is and what we've lost, honestly. Because I think, as things, other careers can kind of go back to a different kind of normal, we can't.
Yeah.
So, and I think sometimes that gets forgotten. The arts gets forgotten.
So I'm going to grab some of these questions here, and we could both jump on them. So we will tag team these questions and try to get information across. So Leah asks, how can I convince Trump supporters / my family to vote blue when they won't listen?
This is a really tough one, and here's the thing. It's very easy to alienate people. You have to remember that not everyone is going to share your opinion, but they're going to have an opinion. And there are some people that you will not be able to change. You can only educate and hope that what you're telling them gets through. But if you are up against a brick wall, screaming and anger, I don't think it's going to get you anywhere. I think it really is just about education and trying to keep a calm head, which is really, really hard these days. It's very, very difficult, because it's unfathomable to me that people have opposite opinions, not just of me, but in the world in general about this election, but they do. And I really do think that it's important to just try and educate and come from a place of love and wanting to better humanity as a whole.
Yeah, and you hit it on the money. I think that's really right. We had on an episode of my podcast, we had Dr. Lisa Hurwitz, a psychologist, talking about. She's amazing. You should go check it out. It's her and Lisa Crone, and it's like stupid good. But she says, and I love it. She says, the moment you come with anger, because anger is an emotion, and then there's a behavior of how we express it. You can be angry. We're all very angry right now, but how you come at it is your choice. And once you come at it yelling at someone, nothing will happen. Walls go up, no change. So I always tell people with that, find some human connection between you. Talk about something that really is personal to you. If you are gay and something like that, talk about the rights on the line that are for you. Like the Supreme Court might strike down the Marriage Act, and we may lose, those rights. Whatever it may be, make it personal. People, when it's personal, it changes. You change hearts and minds, and I think you're right. Come at it with kind. I can go on this forever. So we're going to go to the next.
I know.
So Morgan Haber asks, how to help if you are not old enough?
Oh my gosh, that must suck right now. But I love that you're asking how to help before you can even vote. There's so many ways you can phone bank, you can volunteer to help at the polling places. I believe I think I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can. I think you can write letters. You can, like Eric was saying earlier, yes, you can tweet to us and the theater community, but tweet, write to your Congress people, write directly to the top, because they're going to hear it. And so there's so much that you can do with your voice now, just to be heard from such a young age. I think is so important, because people will see what's coming in the next 4 years. But I don't know. I think you can volunteer for polling, but absolutely phone bank.
Hey guys, you can do phone banking, you can do postcards, you can do all of these things, and we'll talk about phone banking coming up. So, but seriously, you can get involved in all these. Just because you can't vote doesn't mean you can't take this election not only seriously, but put your part in what the future is. You are, and listen, this generation of you guys that can't vote yet, you guys are. I'm curbing my language because my little niece, I think, maybe is watching. But you guys are freaking amazing. I mean, seriously, you all are. Barack Obama said it. You are being handed a really crappy card. You are being forced to become leaders so young. But it's also because you guys are amazing. and because we know that your voices are strong and that you're hungry to make this country look like what you look like and represent what you believe in. So please, please, please get involved. Like Leslie was saying as well, it's more than just tweeting at your Broadway star friends. It's getting involved. You can Google your representative and find out where to write them. Write your representative, write your senator, and tell them, look, your re-election's coming up, and your vote, my vote is on the line, and so you act up for something I care about deeply.
Right, your arts commissioners in your state, in your county, especially if watching this, I'm sure the arts are important to you. Absolutely go to even your local arts commissioners. Like it's just really important to just make it known, make your voice heard, and it can be heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Leslie, I mean, thank you so much for coming on. Look, it didn't go to hell. We did it. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you again.
You guys, we'll be back, but vote.
Yes.
Vote, I'm telling you. And we'll be back even sooner.
Yes, we will.
Love, I loved it. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Bye. So, yes, Matt.
They're ready.
All right. Well, our next guest is here. Here we go. So she's not only a ray of light for so many people, but she's a new mama. Congratulations. And she knows the importance of building a world to raise the next generation in. Please welcome my friend, Patti Murin.
Hey everyone, this is Patti Murin, and today I am here to be a cheerleader. Now, I have been a cheerleader on Broadway in Lysistrata Jones, and I've been a cheerleader all my life. But today, instead of cheering for a sports team, I am cheering for Biden-Harris 2020. Yes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I am in full support of them being elected. I think that they are the best, 1000% best chance at equality, the best chance that we have as a country to come together again. We are very divided right now, and I just had a daughter about 3 months ago, and I want her, I don't know who she's going to grow up to be yet. I don't know who she's going to love. I don't know who she is going to turn out to be. But I want her to feel 1000% comfortable being whoever she wants to be and knowing that she will be accepted, loved, and no different than any other human being in this country. So that has made a huge difference in my life and in how I think of things and in how I feel about things. And I just would really like to bring some of the love and the warmth back to our country and back to who I know that we can all be and what our country really truly does believe in. So I am cheering. I have never cheered harder in my life for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be elected on November 3rd. Thank you all so much. Biden-Harris, Barbie font.
Biden-Harris Barbie fonts. Yes, that is. Thank you so much, Patti. Thank you so much. And congratulations again on your new arrival. That's so exciting. I'm so happy for you and Colin. So phone banking, we just talked about it. You guys are asking how to get involved. Well, this is something you can do right now before you're even 18. You can do this. So let me start you off with where to go. And Alan, let's throw these addresses up there. First one is www.joebiden.com/call. And that is going to be for calling voters. And then we have www.joebiden.com/text for texting voters. So you have two options on this. Your options are you a phone person? Are you a text person? I know I'm a phone person. I love chatting on the phone. I like talking to people. Texting to me is it's up to you totally. Now, some things you want to do, and a lot of these are going to be more for phone banking because, for actual live calls, because you are going to be engaging with people. What you want to do, and this sounds silly, and this is true, you want to do some role play with a partner, with somebody, a friend of yours, a family member. Practice these calls. Practice these calls because you're going to have somebody on the phone, and most times you're going to get a voicemail. But if you get somebody live, you want to be ready. So practice these calls. Read the script they give you, talk about these things, and then have them throw you a curveball, and how you engage then, and how you go, back to your talking point should they bring up something that throws you off or is something that you don't quite agree with. most times you're just reminding them to vote. That's why you're there. You know, the last 2 elections for Barack Obama, I did phone banking, and I did it the date of the election. And my job was to sit there and to call voters and say, hi, you live in Virginia. You're a registered Democrat. And I'm reminding you today is election day, and get to the polls. And we hope you cast your vote for Barack Obama. That was it. That was my job. So you're really just giving a reminder to them. You're telling them to get out there and vote. You're just, again, you know, and if you make that interaction, you're also stressing to them something personal about it. That's our next point. Make it personal. If you're engaging with them and you're talking and you bring up a point that is something that strikes a chord in you and strikes a chord in them, talk about that. Make that the conversation. There are, granted, a very small percentage of people, but there are a small percentage of people that are undecided voters still. And sometimes your words can be the difference between if they vote for Donald Trump or they vote for Joe Biden. And so if you bring up something about how the Affordable Care Act has helped you in a way, if you bring up something about your LGBTQ rights and how they're on the line, if you bring up Black Lives Matter and what's happening in this country, things that you find a connection among, you can be the deciding factor in how they vote. Now with that, I'm going to say something else is do not get into arguments. I'm going to say it again. Do not get into arguments. You are now speaking on behalf of the campaign. So you are representing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So please keep it positive, keep it light. If they say something horrible to you, you say, I'm so sorry you feel that way. Thank you so much. Have a great day. That is it. You are not there to change their minds. You are not there to engage with them. It doesn't matter. So do that. Get online. You can go, again, those 2 websites. Also, I know on lastweekends.org, they have more information on phone banking as well. There is still so much time and so much action we can all do. So please, please, please.
Eric.
Yes, Matt.
Our next guest is here. They're ready.
Matt, you're nailing this. You're nailing it.
Thank you.
So, look, folks, this person needs no introduction. She is a legend that hopes you turn out in mass numbers to make this a legendary election. I give you Donna Murphy.
Hi, folks. Donna Murphy here. The way I see it, this country needs to replicate what we are so good at in the theater, a sense of community. Even in the darkest times, even during the most challenging times, especially during the most challenging times. I mean, right now, we may not be able to stand on a stage and work together to create theater because of this pandemic. And yet, we still stand by each other's side, connected as a community, trying to support each other, brainstorming about ways to still be creative and survive, listening to each other's needs, seeing things from different perspectives, and then coming together as a community to advocate for what will serve all of us. But if, as a country, we remain so far apart and so divided, without a sense of trust, we lose our foundation and we have nothing to build upon. Not only do we never really curb this pandemic and reopen our theaters and other performing arts venues, but America will never get to do the great things that she is meant to do. We need a uniter. And the good news is, Joe Biden is a uniter. Someone to help us heal from the pain that we've experienced. Someone who understands that pain. Someone to remind us of our best and highest selves. Someone who urges us to grow with hope rooted in truth and to come from a place of fairness and justice and equality. And I cannot emphasize that enough. Someone to remind us that the first word of the very name of our country is united. Well, I am united with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And if you haven't already, make a plan to vote. And then check in with your family and your friends and make sure that they have made a plan. And make sure that they understand that it is an essential action to take, especially this year. It's not only a privilege. Sorry, I had to struggle for that word, but it is so important. Yes, it is indeed a privilege, but it's also a responsibility. We might be the only ones standing in the way of the future that we want. Let's not do that. Let's not be that. Let's do everything we can to change things for the better. Let's unite our voices with integrity and caring about what lies ahead for ourselves and our children, our neighbors, our fellow citizens across this country, and the earth that we all live on. Let's vote. Please, let's vote. Bless you all.
That's right, Donna. Let's vote. Thank you so much, Donna. Now, when it comes to election
the
day,
next guest is here. They're excited
Just
about the
back to back now.
candidate.
Good point. All right, folks, our next guest knows his way around our founding fathers and how great the promise of the American experiment, let me tell you that again, and how great the promise of the American experiment can be when in the right hands. Please welcome James Monroe Iglehart.
Early this summer, the horrific and all too often crime of police brutality and needless murder at the hands of those who are supposed to protect us exploded as people all over the country said enough is enough. We rose, we marched, we said their names, and now we look to legislation and a change that will make people of color safer from rogue police and a broken system that incarcerates them at an alarming rate. Now, Joe Biden has promised that under his administration, he will expand and use the power of the U.S. Justice Department to address systematic misconduct in police departments and in prosecutors' offices. He will establish an independent task force on prosecutorial discretion, invest in public defenders' offices to ensure defendants access to quality counsel, and end the criminalization of poverty with the end of cash bail. With decriminalizing the use of cannabis and automatically expunging all prior cannabis use convictions, we create a future where we eventually end all incarceration for drug use alone and instead divert individuals to drug courts and treatment. A fair system, a system that actually believes in rehabilitation and not prisoners for profit as we have now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a change. And I am excited for the administration that Biden and Harris are going to bring. Let's help with the change.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for ungrown waves of green, for purple mountain majesties. patriot. And that is why I am voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They will restore the unity, integrity, decency, and compassion this country needs. Vote. Vote early, and let's make America beautiful again.
I need you to see the goosebumps I just got from that number. See right there? That was the incredible international opera star Harolyn Blackwell giving us just a stunning rendition of America the Beautiful and why she is so amped up and ready for a Biden-Harris administration. And also thank you to James for that incredible, incredible speech there and your passion. So your voting plan. Yes, voting requires a plan, guys. Everything's got a plan these days. So voting plan. So here are some things that will help you the day of for voting. So you make sure that it is successful, that nothing stands in your way, and that you can be as efficient with your time. As we know, time is very valuable. The first thing is you want to find out, where is my polling place? You can go to vote.org, www.vote.org. You can toss it up there, Alan. Go there and you'll find out where your polling place is. Look, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, and a lot of polling places have closed. Need consolidated some. So go up there and check where your polling place is, so the day of you're not struggling to figure out where to go. Now, if you need a ride to get out there, and let's say family or friends can't take you and you don't drive, Uber and Lyft are offering discounted and sometimes even free rides to the polls. So check those out and take advantage of them if you can. That's an incredible thing. Thank you, Uber and Lyft. Look, this is very much in some ways, being called the year of the mail-in ballot. And I think it's an incredible resource to have at our fingertips. I've said this on my pod many times. I say it actually every episode. But if you can go in person, and if you feel safe, and if you feel healthy, and if you've left your house since March and you can slap on a mask, they are making these polling places as safe as possible. I urge you to please go early, vote early, because there is something to the idea of what that night will feel like if it is a landslide that night and we're not waiting on mail-in ballots. Also, we know very well that your vote is there. It's secure. It's done. I just hit my own mic. And that you are taken care of. You know it's in the right hands. But please just make sure and get out there if you are going to vote in person. If the polling location closes, this is very important. If they close and you are in line, stay in line. It is your right to vote. If you are in line, you are able to vote. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. You are able to vote. Stay in line. Do not leave. I don't care what they say, how long it is. Stay in line. Stay in line. Guys, bring ID. There are now 36 states that require some form of ID as law to vote. Bring ID. Just bring ID anyways on you. It does not hurt. And why show up there and have them deny you the right to vote based on ID? Just bring something to identify yourself with. Let's talk about mail-in ballots. Guys, get them in early. Get them in early if you have them now. I saw some people on there have already been saying on our feed here that they've mailed early. That's amazing. Wonderful. Love you. There's drop-off centers. If you want to drop it off and put it into one of those bins, you can find them online where they are in your area. If you don't want to mail them in. Now, here are some things that can make your mail-in ballot void, and you want to avoid that. We want to make sure that we are not doing these things. So complete the entire ballot. Take your time, go through it, check it, double check it, triple check it. This is really important. This is your vote. This is the most important voice you have in this country. Make sure it's legible. Make that voice clear and legible. If they can't see what it is, they will toss that ballot out. So make sure it's legible. Make sure your signature matches. Your signature has to match the one they have on file. So if you decided to add a new loop onto the E in your name, don't do that. Let's not change our signatures on there. Just remember the way you signed it and sign it the exact same way, and that way you are good to go. This was pretty simple, but don't miss the deadline. Make sure you get it there by the deadline. And again, mail it early. You don't want your vote wasted. Make your voting plan, and you want to make it now. These are extremely important.
Eric.
Yes, Matt.
The next guests are here.
All right, great.
Can I announce them?
Absolutely.
Great. Right. These next guests are near and dear to my heart. They're passionate, they're smart, they're excited about voting, and we spent a lot of time together at the Winter Garden Theater. Here are Alex Brightman, Sophia Ann Caruso, and Dana Steingold.
We're unemployed.
Yep. And now, 7 months after a world-altering pandemic has kept the theater world shuttered and unemployment opportunities at bay, Republicans don't want to help the unemployed with any kind of livable monetary amount.
No.
Sweet interjection, Dana.
Thank
Joe
you.
Biden not only has a plan for getting Americans the help they need during this pandemic and economic crisis, but a plan to recreate unemployment insurance for the better. That plan includes establishing 100% federal financing, securing participation from all 50 states, DC, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, and creating a tax credit for employers' extra healthcare costs.
Joe will raise caps on employer work reductions. He'll launch a major awareness campaign to improve business participation rates, and he'll build automatic triggers based on economic and public health conditions so that we're not left in the mess we're currently in.
But what will he do on day one and then going forward? How do we build the economy of the future? Well, I'll tell you. Joe Biden plans to provide immediate pandemic relief to working families, small businesses, and communities. He plans to mobilize across the board to advance racial equity in America.
He will reverse Trump's tax cuts for corporations and make the wealthiest of Americans pay their fair share in taxes through tax reform. He will incentivize unionization and collective bargaining and punish the abuses of corporate power on our workforce.
Look, you're voting for more than just yourself. You're voting for your friends' futures, your family's futures. And you know what? It feels good to vote. So go out and vote. Vote for decency. Vote for kindness. Vote for the world you want to live in.
If you care about artists, if you care about compassion, if you care about empathy, or if you just maybe want a little bit of normalcy, I implore you to vote Biden-Harris, and I implore you to vote early and bring friends to vote with you.
The sooner Biden and Harris get into the White House, the sooner that our curtains will rise. So go out and vote now.
Vote.
Vote.
Look, you heard it from the Beetlejuice stars. Vote, vote. I also saw the comments thread blow up during that, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. I have a few events to bring up for the Broadway for Biden website there. They are having I'm going to look at my phone. They are having a town hall watch party tomorrow night. They are having a dance party to get you pumped for the town hall at 7:30 Eastern time. It's hosted by one of my dear friends, Chris Crothers from Mark Fisher Fitness. The theme is Blue Wave, so come dressed up in all of your blue stuff. And so head over to Broadway for Biden. It's right there on the bottom of your screen, and check out that and all the upcoming events coming up. So folks, look, tonight we've given you some last-minute campaign work you can do. We've given you countless testimony from many Broadway stars about why this is such an important election. I feel at this point, many of you already know why it's so important. I want to thank everybody at Broadway Podcast Network. I want to thank everyone at the Fabulous Invalid LLC, especially my producer, Jamie Dumont, who without him, this would not have happened. He was incredible in all of this, and I cannot thank you enough, my friend. Everyone over at Broadway for Biden for putting this together and for tying in our podcast with this. Looking at the thread of comments, you all is really powerful to see that. Even now, it amazes me to see the power of what the voter can do and the power of what so many of your voices at such a young age want to do. So get out there, get involved, and you have a voice in this country. I cannot tell you enough. If you're a theater person, and I deeply believe this, you have a voice. If you're a theater lover, if you're a theater artist, we are just naturally adept at this. So go out there and make some change, get mobilized for the election, get out there, grab 10 friends and go vote. And if you can't vote yet, just throw in some of the work. I promise you, it's all worth it. Democracy is awesome. Now, tonight I could have the final word, but also it's not for me to have, because we are in 2020. And this year we have been looking at this country as a whole and looking at the people who have fought before us and the shoulders that we stand on. And so tonight, I want to give the final word to someone whose shoulders we stand on, and someone who's been fighting since the mid-60s for her rights and has voted in every election. And I want to give it to somebody who also represents the most important voter that always comes out for the Democratic Party, and the reason why we win elections, the Black female voter, So with tonight's last word, please welcome the legend, Leslie Uggams.
Hey everyone. I hope you're all making your plans to vote for Joe and Kamala and Democrats up and down the ticket. This is certainly the most important election in my lifetime, and I've witnessed plenty. I first voted when I was 18 for JFK. I've voted in every election since. I couldn't wait to exercise that right. I knew what it was like for my parents and grandparents who were denied the right to vote. And I wasn't about to squander the power that so many had fought and died to secure for me. Our vote is the greatest act of protest. It makes our voices heard. But it's more than that. Our votes affect real change. Feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, cynical? Think your vote won't count? That's exactly what those in power want you to feel. They want you to stay home. Why do you think they're trying so hard to suppress the vote? To close down polling places in primarily Democratic districts? To charge modern-day poll taxes in Florida? To limit drop boxes in Texas? To sabotage the United States Post Office? To slow down vote by mail across the country? Because our votes count, and they're afraid of us. Don't let them discourage you. Make your plan and vote as early as you can. My family has already voted in New York City. I kept checking the mailbox every day to see if our absentee ballots had come. I'd say, where's my ballot? What's going on? As soon as they arrived, we filled them out and dropped them off at our local post office. We felt so excited and proud, but most of all, we felt powerful. We want this to be a landslide. When we win back the Oval, increase our majority in the House, and rip the Senate away from Mitch, the Grim Reaper McConnell, in November, we'll know we did our part to save our democracy, because that's what's at stake this year, our very democracy. You see, we're not a dictatorship. This is America. And there's a lot at stake this year. You know, dictators, they're afraid because they're in the minority. But we have fought back their violent oppression before. And we can do it again. We just need to do it together by voting in record numbers. Record numbers. We got this. My first experience with racism was when I was 7 years old. Producers rigged the talent show I was on to prevent me from winning the grand prize. But even that couldn't prepare me for the shock of when 14-year-old Emmett Till was killed. That open casket will haunt me forever. It was my first real awareness of the danger men like my father lived with every day. It was also the beginning of my activism. See, my point in sharing this personal history of mine, we have overcome racism, oppression, and suppression in the past. And we can and will do it again. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are so much more than anti-Trump. They will do more than just restore decency and calm. They understand the moral, economic, legal, and social injustices that this presidency and this pandemic have exposed for all to see. You see, they have the intelligence, the compassion, the caring, and they will make real substantive change. They will also surround themselves with tremendous leaders in the cabinet and administration. They will listen to the experts. They will listen to science. But they will also need Congress to put their visions into law and states to enforce them. That is why it is essential to vote for Democrats in every race, federal, state, and local. And vote, voting shouldn't be such a burden. I get pumped up every time I fill in one of those little circles on the ballot. I tell you, I felt so happy and so powerful when I walked my ballot to the post office this month. This year, the choice couldn't be clearer. It's either democracy or autocracy, honesty or deceit, empathy or cruelty, unity or division, a government for the rich and powerful, or the one that listens to and advocates for everyone else. So get out and vote. Make a plan. Get others to vote with you. Because you see, your vote matters. Your voice matters. Your life matters. Hey, we can do this. #BidenHarris 2020.